Selling isn't complicated. We oftentimes make it overcomplicated, which makes us broke. Listen to how you can fix that with this concept. P.S. Sell it like a cockatoo. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode today, I have the one and only Miss Gail Kasper. Now, Gail and I go back. Listen to this. Gail and I had a podcast prep call. We scheduled out an episode. It was like dynamic, and it's going to be fire, and you're going to listen to it today. Gail and I had a meeting scheduled for that next step to record. Something came up. It didn't quite work out, and Gail actually went above and beyond. And this is why she has this framework and this process that helps us to really connect with people and really see results. She went above and beyond. She got me this wonderful apple pie that was sent from, I believe it was a bakery in New York, and it was like overnighted and sent to my house. And it was like this delectable amazingness right before Thanksgiving. Like, just, it was absolutely amazing. And we're going to talk about it. But the fact is, she recognized that something came up. There was an issue, and she thought she left me hanging, and I was totally fine. But she just went above and beyond and connected with me on a human level. Now Gail is like seared in my mind forever, and our family's mind. That's the type of person she is. And this is why her episode is so fire. She's going to give us some basic fundamental things that you just need to adopt. You just can't skip over these things anymore. But this is going to help you tremendously. If this is your first time listening to our podcast, please go ahead and subscribe. I know you're going to love this episode. You're going to love the other ones too. Also, if you haven't done so already, share it with your team so they can benefit from it. As we dive in, you get a chance to learn about Gail. She helps individuals and teams, and she has a fabulous book, Sell It Like a Cockatoo, and she's going to talk a little bit about that. And actually, she has a free gift that she's given us, and I can't tell you exactly what it is. You just have to wait till the end. And no, it's not pie, but wait till the end of the episode, and you'll check that out. Let's go ahead, dive in, get a chance to connect with Gail, and hear her process. Gail, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Don. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, it's an absolute honor, and I was bragging about you in the teaser, and just like the type of individual you are. And I'm just being straight up, Gail. This is not an often thing where I brag like this, but I told them the story about how we missed each other, and then how you went above and beyond. And this is why I think you're so good at your job.
No,
You're
well,
just a kind heart.
Here we were scheduled. You were looking for me. I didn't have it in my calendar. My fault. And then that's not the way that I work. And I do believe in it as salespeople. No matter what, you let someone down, you've got to be prepared to come through, because as salespeople, we know better than anybody that people are letting us down and they're not even thinking about it. They're not showing up. They're not getting back to us. They're not responding to emails. They're not updating us. We got to keep following up, which again, I get it's part of the job, but it's a relief if we can figure out, what we can do on our end, or what we hope that people will do on their end. It's trying to get the fact that we're people.
Well, I got the facts loud and clear. You're a human. You think about others, and it was just very powerful testament to me. And I think there's so many principles that we can use from that to share towards a sales professional, how we can behave. And it was just like a power example. So I told everyone, like, you're a place in my heart. Just typically we do these prep calls and you do these episodes, and yeah, you connect with folks. But now, Gail, we're at another level now. So thank you.
I love that. That means a lot to me. You've accomplished so much, and I'm so happy for what you've done with the show, with your life, with your business, all of that. Like, I connected with you on that initial call, and I was thrilled that you did that.
Yeah.
That's a great way to just connect with, see what they're about. What's the show going to be about? How do they conduct themselves? So I love that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so impressed with you. So I'm thrilled. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Well,
you.
I see good when I know good when I see it. So Gail, you had me at hello. So
I
you
love it.
you have a book that Sell It Like a Cockatoo. Um, Talk to us a little bit about the book and why you decided to write a book. There's so many other books out there in the market. Do we need another sales book?
Oh my God, right? Another book on closing, another book on value, another book, and how to sell, how to reach, how to connect. And the answer to that question is yes, we do, because today's sales has changed.
Mm,
We are in a spot where there's a lot of online going on, a lot of connecting online when we need to get back to the basics, get back to the face to face, get back to the networking. And we also need to elevate our presentation to a level that is so high because we want to outshine that competition.
mm.
So, what are we doing to refine ourselves? Some people end up in sales, and you know what? It's a surprise for them. They didn't plan to be in sales. They're handed a book. This is our process within the company. But what you really want to do is say to yourself, how do I take this to a whole nother level? How do I learn this product to a level as though I were the designer themselves? Because that level of confidence is what convinces a customer to buy from you. So, yeah, we do need this book. But I will tell you that when I initially started it, it was gonna be a little tiny handbook that would have, like, 50 pages in it of quotes, and it's now, like, what, 160, 70 pages of just content, so it just evolved and evolved and evolved.
Well, it's amazing that because I think a couple pieces that you tie back to at the very beginning there that it just kind of it seems like that's who you are. One, the fundamentals, and going back to human connection. And I feel like the challenge that we find, Gail, is that it's very difficult to scale that human to human relationship. And I think that's where a lot of sales leaders get stuck or sellers get stuck. It's like, well, I can't do that so much. I can't, I need to scale my outreach. I need to scale my phone calls. I need to connect with more and more and more prospect. But then you find that the buyers get annoyed by so many outreaches. And I think there is this renaissance, so to speak, where we're trying to get back to those fundamentals of selling, those almost like those offline sales, human to human networking techniques that is abandoned for virtual. Am I making sense on that?
You are, and well, think about it, just today alone, you're gonna get a phone call from some telemarketer that's gonna be wanting to talk to you, and today more than ever, we're kinda like, "I have no time," and I'm getting a phone call out of nowhere. Um, to be able to be open-minded to them in sales, number 1, don't hang up on those people if you're in sales, please, because 'cause they're trying to do the same job that you're
Hmm.
trying to do. But if we can take all of that effort and that work and find networking events, networking opportunities, conferences, conventions, trade shows where we can be a part of that, find new contacts, create those relationships that can then evolve into something more. So when I say get back to basics, okay, you may not be hitting the phones as much. I would say about 25% of your time should be on that telephone. So if you're not used
Interesting.
to being on the phone, get on the phone. Those tools have not gone away. So you want to be reaching out via telephone, but then the other piece of that, about 50% of that is the networking, the trade shows, the conferences, the associations. Where are your people that you want to find that you want to sell to? Where are they? What are they doing? What are they up to? What kind of clubs are they involved with? Where do you need to be going to connect with them? So get back to getting out there and introducing yourself. Let people feel who you are and what you're about, and that you have the values and the integrity and the character to follow through on what you're saying.
Mm, I love that. I'm glad you also mentioned not to abandon the phone. I think sometimes people are afraid of it, and then they come up with excuses that the phone doesn't work. But it's still a human to human connection pool. Obviously a great way. And then the other thing that I want to clarify with people here, you're saying get to where people are, and if your folks are at conferences or trade shows, it's a great way to get to them. And if they are doing wherever they hang out, the key is that you need to be mindful of that,
Yes.
and to go towards it. The cockatoo idea though, where did that come from?
Yeah, it's interesting because I thought to myself, what is it about salespeople, especially today? What is
Yeah.
it that makes them successful? One of the things that builds success with salespeople, the most successful salespeople, is momentum. They are able to build a momentum. That means their body language, tone of voice, and words all match. They carry those through at 100%. They've got the confidence in what it is they're doing. They build momentum to close the sale. They are dancing with that customer. So they're dancing with the customer, meaning they understand their own body language. They're able to read yours and understand where you are to move that sale forward. So when I thought about the dancing concept, I said to myself, well, what animal dances? What animal dances? Well, a cockatoo dances. And not only do they dance, but the more research I did is, well, cockatoos get loud. Sales
Mm,
reps get loud. You're fighting for a sale, you get loud. You make a sale, you get loud. Cockatoos can be heard for miles. Also, cockatoos cannot be left alone. And think
hmm.
about it, sales reps, you can't leave them alone. Sorry, I love you, sales reps, but you can't be left alone. You got to be pushed to get out there to find more business, to close more deals, because it's a hard business to be in. It's full of rejection. So you can't leave cockatoos alone. You can't leave sales reps alone. So there were so many similarities. And they also built 60-year relationships. They
Mm.
ran for 60 years. You wanna find
Wow.
those 60-year relationships? Long term, that's the whole goal of Cockatoo. So you can dance with that customer and you build enough relationship ability that you're connected to that customer that they come back over and over again and they refer you business. So there's two big elements that are happening out there today: networking, getting out there, and building that referral base. Stop rushing the sales process. Meaning you're with somebody, you want to close them. No, no, no. Build the relationship. Certainly, you want to be cognizant of their time, but build the relationship so that it's long term and they send you referrals.
So go back to that though. Like I'm gonna push back here a little bit because I need to do the interview, right? I
I
like where
love
you're
it.
coming from, but like my sales manager in me or listening to this might thinking, well, does my sales rep have that much time to just build relationship? Is there a method that allows us? How much is building too much relationship, and what should I be doing to build that relationship, and how do I turn the relationship into, go back to what you're saying, forward momentum, that it's actually, that I know that it's leading me somewhere? Because the
So
other
can
side is that you might have those sales managers that, or sales reps, that they feel that that's the end of the process. I build a good relationship with Gail and that's it. But still, yet their job, like you said, is hard. We need to help bring net new businesses. So that's a long winded.
No, 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 and it's a great question because first and foremost, all right, so I'm not saying spend hours with your customer. So if you want to build a quick rapport with that customer, the first thing I would say is be set up for your day.
Mm,
So that customer shows up, you're not thinking, "Oh, okay, I gotta deal with this and I gotta, ask questions and I gotta, then present solutions." I'm not thinking about the process when I meet that customer. I'm present with them. I already know the process. Cockatoo selling is you know it at the highest level. So you're
mm.
not thinking about the process. I'm present with you. I can actually get you. I'm excited to meet you. I've never met you before. I know you're here for a reason. I want to figure out if this is the right fit for each other so that we can move it forward. So I know the process, but I'm connecting with you. And if I'm doing that, I'm hearing what you're about, what's important to you, what's not important to you. I might even make a different suggestion. You're coming in for one thing, and I might be like, well, I don't know if that's the right move for you. You can tell me. Let me tell you what that is involved with that.
Yeah.
But you're actually evaluating with them. Everything you do that makes you present with them is building a connection with them. So you're actually doing that through the sales process. It doesn't mean you have to sit there and have coffee with them. You're actually utilizing the sales process to build that connection because you're present 100% of the time. Then at the end of that time, you close the deal. Then you're kind of like, "Oh, Mr. Customer, this is amazing. Not only enjoyed our time, I learned from you. I love the fact that you're now going to be utilizing our product. This is exciting for me. Who do you know that might also benefit from the same product that you got? And by the way, are you involved in any clubs? Because I
Mm.
would love to stop by. I would love to check that out if you are. Because now I'm going to position myself to be in the spot that I want to be, which is surrounded by other opportunities.
The people like them who are more, they're probably going to be more likely to buy. So you're, instead of me guessing what groups they're part of, what organizations they, conferences they go to, they're telling me, and allows me to be able to cut that process. So, and I see what you're saying here with this now is being present to networking or connecting with the buyers, being present and getting a chance to really know them, not rushing that process to say, I just made it connected with you. We went over the agenda. Let's go ahead and now go through the demo or disco and try to get the next step. Can I utilize that time to meet you on a human level? Um,
Yeah. And what I find with sales reps, and think about it,
mhm.
get it. You gotta close deals.
Yeah.
You gotta pay the bills. You gotta be there for your family. You wanna keep your job. You know, all these stresses on your shoulders. And I'm saying, "Hey, put all that aside and just be present with the customer." But that is gonna get you closer and faster to a close than if you're worried about all these other things and you're not present with that customer. Get to being present, you can find you to close more deals faster.
Mm. How do you help your team understand that? You're recently, I had a conversation with somebody else, and I feel like, Gail, I'm just telling you, I feel like this is something that the buyers are craving more than ever because we've gone through for the past 20 years where it's like this, put a sequence in place. Let's get something automated. Let's go through quick. Let's rush through. That it's almost like going back to when I don't want to say that when sales first started, but like almost like a '90s approach where it's we didn't have some of those distraction things, and they said style reach, bring come back in turn, in time. But that's where I sense I'm getting this feeling from. But how do I help my team to understand and to practice being present?
Train with them. You know, train them on the sales process, everything from report on cover needs to solutions to closing. Go through it with them. Have weekly meetings where you're going through it with them. Stop them when they're getting too much into the sale and they're not figuring out who that customer is. In that role play, whoever's playing the part of the customer, have them be a specific person, a specific customer, so that they can have a personality, a
Hmm.
challenge, a feeling that they can kind of push back on. So challenge your team to be better. If you're not challenging them, they're never going to get to that space. And it's always going to be more numbers, close more deals. Come on. You know, what's going on? Have you called these people back? Why haven't you called them? Did you get through to anybody? That's where you're going to be.
Mm.
Get back into teaching them these elements so that they understand there's a long term benefit to it. And they don't get that right now. They think, oh my God, I got to close. I got to, and I understand. Again, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I love these guys. I love salespeople, but back up. Stop worrying about the sale. Start worrying about the relationship. Get back to the relationship. You will close more deals.
I love it. There's something from the book, one of the sections that stood out, and I wanted to just kind of get that. It was chapter 8, questioning. To step 2, like the questioning was, it's something that I feel. My feelings are that discos, the discovery part of the sales process, that's where the deal closes. Why did you dedicate this section to questioning? Why are you so passionate about questioning?
But it's the same reason you are. It is an extension of rapport. It is an extension of the close, meaning rapport is your first step to, hey, how's it going? You know, you make that connection with the customer. Now, when I ask questions, I'm continuing that rapport process.
Mm.
You don't know it. You think you're figuring out what the customer needs and what's important to them. But because you're asking questions, you're getting them to open up and drop their guard. You're not just pushing, "Hey, let me show you my product. Let's go over to the product area." You're actually figuring out what's going on in their life. And what I love to tell sales reps to do is have that takeaway at the beginning of the call. The takeaway would be in the agenda, "Hey, I'm so glad that you came in today. I'm thrilled to see you, or I'm glad that we had this opportunity to meet. First thing I want to do is just tell you a little bit about us, and then I want to find out a little bit about you and what's going on and what brings you here. And then finally, let's see if this is the right fit." So takeaway means I'm not saying it's going to be the right fit. I'm saying let's find out if it is. So this way, that customer doesn't think, oh, okay, they're trying to sell me. The customer's thinking, wait a minute, they want to make sure this is right for me too. So it
Yeah.
continues that rapport process.
And I think there's, if you don't mind, throw this out there. What would that look like? Maybe we could do a quick little role play. I know you just did the scenario there where you're explaining the, or even just so I could walk through further. But I like this idea a lot, and I want people to just really, for them for them to really get it and walk away with it. How do you continue that, or maybe give me a quick example how we would continue that rapport building in the question asking phase with the prospect?
And I would say to them, "Don't make it complicated."
Mm.
Meaning, okay, so I say hello, I give my welcome, I give that quick agenda, and I say, "Okay, you know what? Let's find out a little bit more about what brings you here today." And you tell me it's, "Well, I'm looking at product ABC," whatever that might be. And I say, "Well, what's your reason behind that? Like,
Mm.
what's the reason that you're looking for that? How does that benefit you? Um, What have you heard about it? What do you know? So I might go through all of those different elements just to figure out, is this the right product for them or why they want to buy it? Or I just say to them, is this for your family? Is this for you? I want to just find out more. So that is building rapport, even though I'm trying to figure out, is this product right for you? Or, are you buying the right thing?
Yeah, because I will probably reveal stuff to you in there. I'm going to tell you stories or go deeper. I might say, yeah, my boss, we just recently had, I don't know, we had cutbacks and our team is shorter, but we need to do more. We need a new piece of technology to help us out to do so. That's probably telling you a lot. I probably have anxiety there because we just had cutbacks. Am I finding my replacement in this solution? Or, maybe I'm concerned for my family, but that conversation there will probably give you so much more if you're listening like the way sellers are listening, like how you were telling them at the beginning of this conversation. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and if you said that to me, you've had cutbacks, I'd be like, "Tell me about it. What happened?"
Yeah.
I'm gonna dig more into that. Now, again, even if you're talking to me about the product, just the idea that you're talking, you are building a relationship with me.
Mm.
That's what sales reps have to hear. Just because the customer is talking and you have kept your mouth shut, they are building a relationship with you. Because who do people like to talk most about?
Themselves.
That's right. So when they're talking about themselves, they're building a connection with you. They're dropping their guard and you're actually invested and interested.
Gail, we could go on for days on this topic.
Oh my God, I would love that. Let's do it.
It's like, guys, we got to do a series on this stuff here, but this is really good. I love it, and there's so many things in this book that I want people to just be aware of about the system that you have. I like that concept of that cockatoo and just like how the cockatoo, like you're sharing. There's so much there. We even scratched the surface. Like the chapter guys on the getting loud. I think this is important in so many different ways right now. We can get loud in many different ways. So I'm not going to give you all of the secrets behind that. You need to check out the book, and we have a link down in the show notes. But Gail, if we were to wrap up our convo today, we spoke about a lot. What's one major piece of takeaway you want sellers and leaders to leave with from this conversation?
If as a leader, push your team, push the envelope with regard to what they know about the product, the service, and the sales process. That's number one. All of my training is based around elevating the level of sales presentations so that they distinguish themselves from the competition. And as a sales rep, if you're listening to this, do the same for yourself. Don't wait for your manager to do it. You elevate the level of your sales presentation. Know where you're going so you can be present with the customer.
I love that idea. Know where you're going. Give them that outcome, and then you're guiding them towards that. Love it. Now, Gail, you mentioned you had a free gift for our community as well.
Oh, I do. I do. It's a free
Oh, we like
download. I know
gifts.
it's
We like gifts.
yeah, it's called the 3 most overlooked sales tools that close more deals, and, I think you're gonna have the link in the show notes so
Hmm.
that they can get a copy of that, and anybody can reach me on my website, gailkasper with a K.com. I've just enjoyed being here so much, Don. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it was an absolute honor, and I think there's a lot here that we can dissect. And I encourage you, if you listen to this episode, listen to it again and share it with one other person. They'll greatly appreciate that. Thanks for coming on the show, Gail.
Thank you so much for having me.
I told you you're gonna like Gail. That's Gail Kasper with an K. You can find more information about Gail in the show notes, and as well as that free gift that she promised you and I told you about. It's good stuff. Listen, I just love the concepts and how simple and fundamental it is, and how it goes back to this human level, and how she practiced that even with our situation. And she's just one of those people, like total gem. And I encourage you to connect with her. Tell her you heard her on the show, and check out her book as well. We have a link in the show notes. As always, I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. I want you to raise your level of thinking, but most importantly, I want you to go out and do big things as we start the new year. Let's go.